fuck. Thanks, Steve. Yeah. The problem with OBS is when you've got a little intro thing playing, the microphone's switched on, and yeah, you forget it's on, and you can be talking or whatever, but then you forget to turn it on. So I turn it off, and then you forget to turn it on. Anyway, you should be able to hear me now. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to Friday Waffle. Welcome to anybody, well, anyone that's watching this on Twitch and also on YouTube. Now, apparently, I'm extremely new to Twitch. I mean, I'm up to 27 followers. Uh, yeah, I've been on Twitch for about, I don't know, about 3 weeks. Well, I've got a few new people. The great John Zini. Welcome, Squire. And Simu too. Nice to have you along. Go on, my OCD's kicking in. Simu to go and make your first letter a capital letter. Yeah, that's my OCD. Yeah, I've only been on Twitch for about 2, 3 weeks. I should be fine now, Steve Craig. I should unmuted. Um, aye, so it's weird. Apparently Twitch doesn't like the fact that you multi-stream. In other words, this is going out across both YouTube and Twitch. They don't like that. They want an exclusive on my content, but they can bugger off. I mean, I've been on YouTube for. I always have to look at the date. I've been on YouTube for 12 years, and I've been on Twitch for 2 weeks. And obviously, most of my audience is on YouTube, and so I'm not gonna stop YouTube and move to Twitch. The only reason I'm doing it on Twitch is because I can do it across both at once, but apparently they don't like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, I don't have a hell of a lot. Can I ask everybody that's watching tonight? I don't know how many folk are in at the moment. There's about 6 of you. Can I ask each and every one of you to ask me a question? Ask me a question, preferably related to gaming. Don't ask me something stupid like what's your favourite flavour of yogurt or flavour of crisp. That's just a kind of one or two word answer. Ask me something about gaming that you want to know. I know a few of you, in fact probably all of you as well. There's a couple of new people that probably don't really know me, so ask away. And even the regulars ask away as well, because I call this the Friday Waffle, and it is my opportunity to just talk and generally complain. It used to be about video games, classic video game systems. But when you've been doing these for 12 years, you get to a point where you've said everything you have to say. I don't really follow kind of modern stuff about gaming. I'm not interested. I mean, I do play modern games, but when I say I play modern games, I mean the games I'm playing at the moment are probably about 5 years old. But yeah, I generally don't follow video game stuff on YouTube or whatever. I'll watch like videos, but I don't know about the news and all this kind of stuff. Um, yeah, you may be aware that there is a Vectrex Mini coming out. Is it by the same company that's done all the other what do you call it, minis? Yeah, the thing is, the Vectrex is quite a small system anyway. So why make it a mini one? And it's not like it's going to have a vector screen. It's going to be a modern screen that's going to emulating vectors, which is absolutely fine. Because the emulation that you get now on these things is really good. Even though it'll never be as good as a proper, what are they called? What is it, a raster display? No, it's not a raster display. I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's never going to be the same as playing. You imagine the screen that Asteroids is on. It's never going to look as good as that. But you know what? I've got my opinions about it. I don't. I'm not going to buy one. Well, I might buy one. Depends how much it is. If it's 150 quid and it looks all right, I might buy one. Because like anything, I mean, you can see my Vectrex. Uh, there it is. There. Look at that. Look at that. Um, I should I turn the light? Yeah, let's turn the Vectrex on. Hang on. There we go. Oh, you can't bloody see anything. Oh, that's shit. Right, hang on. I'm going to go and turn it back off again. Hell's teeth. That was a complete bloody waste of time. Good evening, Neil. How are you, Squire? I was going to suggest if you don't know Neil, folks, Stealth Banana. He was the lesser of the two handsome blokes that did the stream last week when we were going to tell you definitive what was the best 8-bit machine. Uh, Fantastic, Simu. I can sleep easy tonight. I can definitely sleep easy. Um, what was I talking about? But yeah, I mean, these things they now go for daft money, like all the kind of original hardware. It goes. There's the whole retro scene has exploded. It's so big now. It's become saturated, and I think the more popular it becomes, I was going to say the less interested I am. That's not true. I've still got a big interest in it, but yeah, it just becomes a bit done it, seen it, got the T-shirt type thing. But you know what? At the end of the day, if a Vectrex Mini allows people to get a kind of flavour of what the original was like, then there's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the comments. Yeah, I've got a few new people. Jambo, I just followed because I'm from Glasgow. Whereabout are you from, Jam? I'm always, and it's not to scratch my ego, I'm always genuinely interested. How did you find out about my YouTube channel? Interested to know. Ah, Jam, you're actually following me in you're actually on Twitch, which is interesting. That's good. Yeah, trying to kind of it's like when you do it's like when you start off on YouTube, nobody knows you, and you're just talking to yourself, and it takes a long time. But anyway, good to see you. You just saw me on Twitch. Well, that means the algorithm must be doing something right. You can probably tell, even in Delt, you can probably tell looking at my Twitch channel that I'm completely shite at it. I'm great at talking, by the way, but yeah, as far as my presentation on Twitch, when I'm not online, the main Meister logo, it's all out of sync and all that, and I don't know how it works. That is far too complicated for me. But anyway, welcome. Yeah, let's have a quick look. I do have a few questions. Yeah, what I was going to say is, if I don't get questions, then this will no longer be called the Friday Waffle. It'll be called the Friday Fuck All to Talk About because there's going to be nothing to talk about. So get these questions in, anything at all, especially the new people. If you want to hear, you'll be thinking, why the fuck am I going to ask this guy who I don't know, some random on Twitch? Why do you want to ask him a question? And you'd be right. Why are you interested in what I think about the Commodore 64? But you know what? Hey, you're watching this, so you must be interested. Right, anyway, Kevin, he has ordered the ultimate Commodore 64 Beggy. Is that meant to be beige? Possibly, Kevin? Yeah, I think is the ultimate Commodore 64, is that the new computer that's been released by Commodore? I hate when people do that, but Commodore, yeah. Well, leave my. I've got my own thoughts on that. But yeah, the Ultimate 64, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. You can see my bread bin there behind me. That is the Ultimate 2. I think it's Ultimate 2 board. I got that. I actually only got that about maybe 2 months ago. Um, yeah, and I've just popped it into an original C64 bread bin. And it's great. It's really, really good. So you're going to love it, Kevin. You're going to love it because you can, obviously, you don't have to fuck about with tape images. I mean, if you want to, you can. You can load from tape. Why anybody would want to do that is beyond me. The thing is, if you want to experience the full sort of like experience of loading a tape, apart from doing click, boom, play, you can load a game in sort of real time. So you've got, if you want to enjoy the whole kind of loading screen music and all that kind of stuff, you can do that. Obviously, you can load disk images, cartridges. Excuse me. Um, yeah, you can load a multitude of different things. You can play SID tunes, and what's great about it is if you're lucky enough to have a couple of like even one or two SID chips, you can put them into the Ultimate 2. It does emulate SID music, but you can also have the SID chips in as well, which gives it a really really cool sound because it means that when you're playing music, it's coming out the real thing. And talking of SID music, on for those people that don't really know me, I've got a podcast called The Nice and Nasty, which usually yeah, I think it always comes out on a Tuesday, depending on whether I've got somebody to actually talk to. And I've got a cracker coming up on Tuesday. If you're into your SID music, you may know a young man called Jason Page. Jason did the music for Rainbow Islands in the Commodore 64. Pish game, but the music's great. But Jason, if you think Rob Hubbard and Martin Galway were good with the SID, this guy is, I'm going to say he's on another level. He is on another level, but then to be fair, he's had 30 years, you know, experience and 30 years of kind of like knowledge online and that kind of stuff. But Jason Page does some absolute wicked SID music. I did do I did do a couple of videos, I think last week and the week before. I was playing some Jason Page music, but Jason was my guest in the Nice and Nasty. We recorded it a couple of weeks ago. That's going to be coming out on Tuesday, and I've got a really special one coming out. Jason has agreed to come on to my channel on a live stream at some point, probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks, whatever. Or it might go beyond that. Depends. But what we're going to do is I've asked Jason to pick his five favourite SID tunes that he composed, and then also to pick his five favourite SID tunes from anyone. So looking forward to that. That should be really, really good. Right, Craig's asking, Alan, what's the chances of a new C16 being made by so-called Commodore? I think the chances of that coming out, Craig, are zero because the C16, I know that you've got a lot of nostalgia, and I know we kid each other on, we all kid on and say, yeah, how shit it is. The problem is, a lot of the games for the C16 were crap. So there's no nostalgia for really anybody apart from you and the other two people that bought them. It would be like, what is the chance of a mini Jupiter race, or what's the chance of a mini Mattel Aquarius? Zero, because nobody nobody owned them, and they weren't very good machines. I think there were some. Sean Southern was obviously able to. He was able to get some get some good coding out of or good games out of a C16, but the majority of games were shit. I mean, and again, I know we all talk about it. Green Beret, that says it all. One of the worst games ever, if not the worst game. But yeah, joking aside, I don't think there's any hope in hell of a C16 because who's going to buy it? I wouldn't buy it. I mean, hands up, anyone in this stream apart from Craig who would buy a mini C16? I think you might be the only one, Craig. So I don't think there's a cat's hell chance of that happening. Steve, questions. Hang on, I'm going to read that and also drink my tea. What game couldn't you get home soon enough to play back in the day? Which game box got you the most excited? And number two, if you could bring back a dead soul for your house to make games again, which do you pick and why? I think you know that. I think you know the answer. My answer to the last one. Um, oh God, there was quite a few. What game couldn't you wait to get home and play? The game I think I had the most excitement waiting for it, and I didn't. Well, I did buy it. I didn't actually go into a shop and buy it. I got my mate to buy it, and the reason being is when it got reviewed in Zap, I went to my local computer shop, and this is before like places like John Menzies and whatever it is sold games. So I had to rely on Ray Agostini, who was an Italian who sadly passed away. He actually passed away a few years ago. I was gutted to hear that because it was Ray who owned this Atari shop in Livingston. It was him that got me into playing computer games. I honestly think if it wasn't for Ray having that shop, I don't think I'd be talking to you guys just now. Um, I might be on YouTube talking about something completely different. Uh, what was I talking about? Yeah, there was a game that got reviewed in Zap, and I couldn't wait to play it. And we went up to Ray's shop to see if he had it, and it was coming out. I could even go and get my diary. I've got a diary that I kept in 1985 or 1984, and that game was Way of the Exploding Fist. And yeah, I remember reading the review. I can't remember what it got. I think it got a sizzler. I didn't get a gold medal, and it just looked astonishing. It looked like nothing I'd seen before. It looked like a proper arcade game, not a game on the home computer. And yeah, we went up to get it, and he says, "Oh, it's not coming out till Wednesday." So then I think it was during the summer holidays. We'd finished school, whatever, and my mate Grant, he was coming down to see me, and I asked him, could he pop into the computer shop and buy Way of the Exploding Fist? And I remember the excitement waiting for Grant to come down and loading the game up. I mean, I've had that kind of thing with a few games, but that's probably the game of any other game that I've been really really excited to get. Yeah. Which game box got you the most excited? Mm. Thing is, the early games, they didn't have screenshots. It was artwork. So you'd buy a game based on a drawing on the front of the box, and in most cases, the drawing was going to be way better than the game, or at least the graphics were. So yeah, you would look at the cover art, the box art, and then you would read the instructions, and it would say this 100% machine code, full action arcade game, blah 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 blah. You got to destroy the baddies, whatever it was, and you're like, yes. But I think the one game that I did see getting played, and it just looked incredible. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to answer this, and I'm going to do something interesting in a few minutes. And that game was Beachhead, and the back of the cover, I'm sure had a screenshot of like the aeroplane passing overhead, and it just looked like something I'd never seen before. So yeah, I couldn't wait to get home and play that. But I had actually seen the game getting played. It was playing in Ray's shop because although he was primarily an Atari dealer, he did eventually. He used to start stocking C64 games. I think he realised that the Atari wasn't really selling. I mean, most of the people that went in his shop were all grown men. I don't think I ever saw any women in there. I think his wife used to come in sometimes, but yeah, it was very much a nerdy kind of man thing. Um, and yeah, there was guys. The guys were all early kind of computer adopters, so it was all Atari. But very quickly, I think Ray realised that the Ataris weren't really selling, and unless he started selling Commodore 64 games, then he was probably not going to make any money. What was quite funny, he did stock a few Spectrum games, but it was all the games that you got free, like Make a Chip and oh, what was that sort of 3D rendering? It had like a sort of 3D wine glass on it. Was it Vue 3D or something? VU 3D, something like that, something like that. But yeah, Beachhead, and that was technically question two. So we'll call this question three. If you could bring back a dead software house to make games again, well, that is an easy one, and it would be task set software. I would need to have a word with my mate Andy and see if he's going to start making games. If you don't know what task set software is, they weren't in existence for very long because sadly when the money men moved in, the accountants moved in, companies like task set software just couldn't compete. There was only a few people making games for them. But yeah, they made stuff like Super Pipeline 2, Seaside Special, Poster Paster, Bozo's Night Out, Gyropod. Um, I think that was it. They didn't make a lot of games, but Super Pipeline and Super Pipeline 2 are two of my favourite video games of all time across anything. So yeah, listen, what I'm going to do just for a laugh, I'm going to go and get something. Hang on a second. Hang on, I should do this. I should do this properly. I'm going to put my little back in a jiffy video. Right, back. Excuse me. I I sold I sold all my Commodore 64 stuff. When would it be? 1987. Yep, I sold it all. I had a C64, I had a disk drive, I had a freeze frame cartridge, I had a tape deck. I probably had about 200 games in cassette, and I had a shitload of original discs and copied discs. And I think, yeah, in fact, I would have. I had every Zap magazine from well, when it came out in was it May 1985? I think it came out up until 1987 when I sold it, and I sold all that for 100 quid. So yeah, I got rid of everything. And whilst I like video games, I don't collect games. I'm all about playing games. So I'm more than happy to play like ROMs and images and that kind of stuff because I'm not interested in buying games. But about 15 years ago, when I was in my old house, I decided just for a bit of fun to start kind of buying the real classic games that I remember, the early games that I was really fond of. A lot of them that had like iconic tape, cassette inlay covers, whatever you want to call it. So I've got a box here. Yeah, it's just completely random. I'm going to let you see them because I've not done this. I don't think I've ever shown these off. So in no, well, let's just get back to the comments. I will, and Welsh, bloody hell, that was so emotional. Craig, do you have any contact with Jason Perkins? It's not something I've ever spoke to. I wouldn't mind. I could try and get in touch with him, Craig. I know he did a few. Why are we getting very emotional? I don't know why you're getting emotional. Anyway. Right, let's look at some games in no particular order. Now, the reason I bought this game is because I don't remember the game, but there is something. Uh, whoa, who's getting emotional? Aberdeen supporters. Um, yeah, there's something really classic and distinct and a tacky way when I think of Interceptor software. So we have Vortex Radar. I think that was a. Is that going to? Is that autofocus? When you can kind of see it, it's got a cover on it. I'll just leave the cover on. So Vortex Radar. This game, believe it or not, folks, is actually the precursor. I think Ian Gray should have a word with the guys from Rockstar, particularly Grand Theft Auto, because this game was an early Grand Theft Auto, and it's this Siren City. Yeah, sorry for the bright light. I wish that would go sharp. Why is it not going sharp? Hang on a second. Let me see if I can. Configure video. I think it may be focus. Yeah, it's set to auto. So you'd think that it would. Tell you what, if I take untick auto and then go apply, let's see how this is. This going to be any better? Don't know. I don't know. Is that any better? Nah, not really. Siren City, and I paid a whopping £5 for that. Next one. There's two games that in fact, here they are here. These two games I'm about to show you were my very first, very first games that I ever loaded on my Commodore 64, and this is the first one. Crazy Kong. It is absolute dog shit. Yeah. I always thought Crazy Kong was spelt with K, but there you go. It's not. It's spelt with C. Crazy Kong, and so that was the first game, and the second one was this. Now, this is actually good. Frogger 64. Was there a manual? No, there wasn't a manual. It's all you can see. It's all broken inside. That's a shame. Yeah, and I mean that's what was on the back. Nothing really to write home about. Andrew Chalice and Ian Gray wrote this one. Yep, there we go. That is a god awful game. Hi, Colin. This game when it got reviewed, it wasn't computer and video games. In fact, it might have been computer and video games actually. That game, Crazy Kong, came out in 1983. Yeah, it came out in 1983, Craig. Yeah. This game here, it was reviewed by Computer and Video Games, and I bought it, and this took over my life for a long time. That is International Soccer. I think. Is the instructions in there? Yeah, look at that. They've even got the instructions. Fantastic. And I can't get the bloody things back in. Shit. I knew I shouldn't have taken them out. A minute, what is going on? What is going on, folks? Well, you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to fold it in half, which I don't really want to do because it's probably going to end up. How does that go in? Ah, right, it needs to. Hang on. Hang on. I shouldn't really be folding that because. Bollocks. It's getting folded in half. There you go. International soccer. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. But I lost count the number of, not years, hours that I played this. I mean, I played it just non-stop for probably about a year. Oh, fuck. Right, I'm going to put that in later on. Can't be arsed. Right. Ah, now, you know what? Ah, right, okay. Well, we're talking about this one. Beachhead. Now, I thought it was the screenshot was in the back. It's not. It's actually on. It's on that. Right, hang on. I'm going to go into my webcam and I'm going to. I want to focus. There we go. There we go. Look at that. That's better. Beachhead. Yeah, I'm blurred, but that's fine because that's in shot. You can see the little screenshot at the bottom. Another classic. Attack of the Mutant Camels by Jeff Minter. Did I have it? Yeah, there's instructions as well. Wow. Planet Earth needs you. Hostile aliens have used genetic engineering to mutate camels. Blah, 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 blah. That was 1983. There we go. This was the game we're talking about. With Exploding Fist. Oh, man. Even in the back, it just looks so good. Look at that. It just looks so good. Here we go. I eventually, in fact, I've got my mate Panther to thank for this. China Miner. If you're a regular of the channel, you'll know that I do like a bit of China Miner. Another classic, Matrix. Again, that's by Lamasoft. Now, I don't know where I got this from. No idea. There's Crazy Kong by Interceptor Software, but it's on the. This is the VIC-20 version. So yeah, I don't know what one you think has the better title. VIC-20 versus Commodore 64. I'm assuming this is equally shite. Who programmed that? Ah, it was Ian Gray as well. So he programmed both. I'll need to do an 8-bit face-off kerfuffle. The only good game, in my opinion, that Tony Crowther ever wrote. Loco. Well, I get a software. Again, it's got some nice little screenshots in the back. That's empty case. Some random Mega Drive cartridges. I don't know what the hell that is. Ah, there's another classic. Excuse me. Exterminator by Bubble Bus. What was the name of the guy? Ken Jones? Who wrote the game? Machine Code, fast action game, shoot everything that moves. Can't forget that one. Drop Zone. I was going to sell these and I thought, no, I'm going to keep them because there's so many memories. I'm never ever going to load them, but there's so many memories attached to all these games. I always thought that the Imagine work by Bob Wakelin, that just looked really iconic. Again, it's got some nice screenshots in the back. What the hell's that? Paratroopers by Rabbit Software. That's actually quite a good. Ken Dodd, what the hell are you on about? There's another classic. Your Kung Fu. I personally think that's a great game. I think it's a really, really good conversion. I know not everybody likes it. This game I've got because the music is one of the finest bits of music, in my opinion. Flight Path 737. That was the first game that came out by, Imagine, yeah, World Series Baseball. What was interesting was they were all arcade conversions, but that game wasn't. What the hell's this? Oh, God, what is that? Yeah, Commodore 64 Chiller. Oh, God, Seymour Stuntman, not interested in that. That's a random game. I've got Spectrum Pool as well. I didn't actually realise I had as many of these. What the hell is this? Brainstorm Vegas Jackpot. Oh, bother showing you these, they're boring. And of course the classic. Ah, there we go. I don't know how I've got that. Football Manager for the Electron. I'll need to send Kevin Toms a picture of that. I've got a random Ghost Hunter. I've also got, I don't know, I don't even have a VIC-20. I've got a VIC-20 8K cartridge. Time Machine, never heard of that one. Another Interceptor Software, Sprite Man, which is a shameless rip-off of Pac-Man. Another great game. Bounty Bob Strikes Back. There we go. We're talking about it, and I did actually. I was slagging Andy Walker off for that pipeline. See, I always thought it was called Super Pipeline, but it's just called Pipeline. Oh no, it says Super Pipeline there, but on the front it just says Pipeline. And it was Andy Walker that came up with the bug stops here. See the little plane. Apparently, it was the guy that did the printing, did the little cover. Instead of water coming out, that looks like sewage. Rick Dangerous. God, I actually forgot how many classic games I've got here. Encounter by Nova Gent. Grid Runner by, again, Jeff Minter, C64. Yeah, absolutely. Hover Bover. Yeah. You know, I honestly forgot I've got as many games. My goodness. I'll need to try and get them put up somewhere. Right. Laser Zone. That was, what do you call it? Lamasoft. Great decathlon game by David Crane. I think it's got screenshots on the back, has it? Yeah, it has. It's got one screenshot. I forgot I had as many of these. Another Interceptor. It's got an absolutely hideous artwork in the front and Burger Time. Again, I think that was Ian Gray. Oh, it wasn't. It was Lee Brain that did that one. A good conversion. Zaxxon. Does that not just get the old nostalgia thing going? Had to have this. Daily Tom's decathlon. No worries, Lewis. Put it on the podcast. Yeah, listen, I'll do that. I'll do that. I know I've been a bit lazy. I've not been making my Waffles podcast, but I will do. Football Manager. There's Kevin Toms. His hair looks a bit scruffy there. I'll need to pull him up for that. Spy Hunter. Yeah. These games are probably worth a bloody fortune now as well. Tales of the Arabian Nights, Interceptor Software, and Scramble 64, another Interceptor Software. Right, I'm going to attempt to get all these back in, because if I don't do it now, then I'm going to have to do it. Once I end this stream, I'm going to have to do it. So I'm just going to attempt. You know what it's like? You take out stuff out of a box, and then when you try and put it all back in, it's like, how the hell am I going to manage that? Why is that not going back in? I hear you cry. Oh, there's another one. Pit Stop 2. And there's a copy of whatever that is. What is that? What is that? Adidas Champion Football. Yeah. Yeah, that is it. I mean, I don't have a lot of tapes, but the games that I do have are games that I've got a lot of happy memories about. There's nothing in this collection that I would say, nah, I didn't play. I played all these. That can go there. That can go there. Okay, hell. Just bear with me a second, folks. Right, they can all go down there. Right, almost finished, almost finished. What the hell is this? See the amount of shite that I've got. We've got some. I've got some copied Dreamcast games. Legend of Spyro on the PS2. Even these, even seeing something like that is nostalgic. Copied CDs, eh? Don't you love them? Canon Spike for the Dreamcast. Right, the other stuff I've got here, Ghost Hunter. Oh, I can't forget this one. Oh, there's a Zap Mega Tape 23. Was that full games? Bloody hell. Look at that. That's mental. You're getting 3 full games. Boulder Dash 4, Boulder Dash 6. What happened to Boulder Dash 5? And Spy v Spy 2. I don't know where that came from. Rough and Ready. Hopefully it's one of these games that's worth an absolute fortune. Monty on the Run. Yep. And these are the games I was talking about. Survival. These were the Spectrum games that Ray stocked. Survival. For some weird reason, I've got 2 copies of Survival. Probably because I've bought Spectrums, and obviously these were bundled. These were bundled with the Spectrum. Scrabble. And I do also have, oh my god, good golly miss, I'm not even going to dig it out. I've got the Adrian Mole's Secret Diary, and I've got a user manual for Robocop 2. Don't appear to have the game. What the hell was that? Super, Super Dead in the Commodore 64. And a copy of Star Glider for the Atari ST. What the hell is this? Coaster off-road building site. Somebody's got Big Lake. Somebody's written all these names. I don't know, what is that? Oh, I think that might be where the what was it called? Clumsy Colin. I think that might be the locations of all the. Is it coins or something? I can't bloody remember. Anyway, yeah, that's my games. Right, I'll get back to the questions once I move this onto the floor. Right, you can sit over there. Oh, there's another 2 games. Hang on. Oh, right, that'll be them broken. Okay. Right. Let's get back to the questions. Yeah, Jambo, you never told me. Oh, you said yeah, you saw me on Twitch. Wonderful. Right, Dale, just tuned in. Question: we have had collectors of full systems, self-help videos fixing them, emulation on a PC and handhelds. So I need to read this again. I've just tuned in. We have collectors of full systems, self-help videos fixing them, emulation on a PC and handhelds. Where in 5 years do you think will our hobby be? I don't know. It's hard to say, Dale. I mean, we've got the nostalgia. We were the generation. I'm gonna just put this back on to. Is that all right? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna stick this back on the autofocus. I think. Hang on. Autofocus. There we go. Is it going to autofocus? I think it has. Um, excuse me. Yeah. I mean, we are the first generation of video game fans. And so being able to play these games some 40 years on, um, we've we've got the nostalgia. But in the current generation, they're not going to have nostalgia, I don't think. And I think that even the love, there's always going to be some diehard people who'll, the way people in 50 years' time, I won't be here. In 50 years' time, there will be some people who will still have they'll inherited their granddad's collection of video games, and they'll probably talk about them, and they'll probably use like videos like this, if this is still a thing, if if YouTube's still a thing in 50 years 50 years time, don't know. Um, there will be a few diehards. It's a bit like people who collect like antiques, whatever it is. But by and large, I think that this hobby will eventually disappear. It'll just be left to like museums and sort of archive video footage to kind of keep these kind of systems alive. I really don't think that people will be talking about. There will still be a few people talking about the Commodore 64 in 50 years, but nowhere near as much as it is just now. But yeah, anyway, I know that was a shit answer, Dale, but hopefully that's all right. Favorite joystick? Simu's asking. It's got to be. It's not the best joystick, but my favorite joystick, the joystick that I had back in the day, was the Wico Boss, which was a big grey monster of a joystick. It had a big shaft, a big thick base, long thin shaft, with a button on the top. And it was weird because it was almost like an analog joystick because it had so much like free play in it. To move it from center to the left, you were moving it probably 2 inches. So it probably wasn't the best joystick to play, but I loved it. It just had a good feel to it. Um, and yeah, having the fire button in the top, you could press your thumb as well. It was a lovely joystick. But yeah, if I'm going to play games now, like on the Mist or whatever, I will use. Where the hell is it? Yeah, I mean, I'll use one of these. One of these. What was that called? A zip stick, I think it is. Yeah, nice and kind of clicky. It's all right. That'll do. That'll do me. Hey. Big Sky's asking, hi Al, one thing I really miss from the 80s is game compilations. They sold a million and Konami arcade classics were my favourite. Did you buy compilations and if so, which ones? Um, Here's the thing. Because I was an early Commodore 64 guy, I had moved on to the Atari ST in 1987. So most of the the compilations, they didn't start arriving until maybe, I don't know, 86, maybe 85, 86. And invariably, I had already bought the games. So whilst I totally agree that Konami Classics was an absolute classic, I mean, it had Yeah Kung Fu, Green Beret, what else did it have? Mikey, I think. Yeah, it had all the great hyper sports, it had all the great conversions, and yeah, but I had already bought them. I had already bought the originals, so I didn't really buy many of them. But yeah, they were great, and I mean, I always remember being in John Menzies, and I was looking at a game, and I think it was like, I don't know, 9.99, and then I looked down and there was a compilation with about another 5 games, and this game is on the compilation. And I remember saying to the assistant, it says, "Wait a minute, you're selling this game for 9.95, yet you're selling the compilation for 9.95 that had another 4 games," and he just sort of weren't interested. But yeah, some of the compilations were great, and I have to admit the Konami Arcade Classics was an absolute, yeah, brilliant one. Dale saying, my opinion on my question, I think we may have a rise of hybrid old computers having enhancements, i.e. a C128 with dual SID and enhanced VIC chip, and same for Amstrads. Yeah, I mean, I think we've become kind of obsessed with trying to bring out new systems and update them and all that kind of stuff, and that's good. That's a great thing, because these modern systems, they have now allowed us to it's allowed us to play these old systems on like modern TVs. Because you try and get a hold of a TV that's got like a composite in. I mean, does that? I don't think any modern TVs have them anymore. And then even then, the picture's going to be complete dog shit. So yeah, these modern things like the Spectrum Next, the Ultimate 2, even these little mini systems, they're great. Really, really, really good. Cheers, Dale. Take care. Give your mum a cuddle from me, mate. Um, right. Craig's, mine was Blagger on the C16, walking, looking the cassette cover. Ah, right, right, right. Yeah, I don't recall the cassette cover for that one. Hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Am I going to sneeze? Steven's asking, "Hi Alan, I have a question for who the hell is it? Yeah, question. What was your favourite games magazine growing up?" It would, I mean, the early magazines were obviously things like computer and video games. But my favourite magazine, and it's no surprise, being a C64 guy, it had to be Zap. Zap was written by game fans, and whatever whatever these guys liked, whatever like Julian, I was going to say Julian Clary, whatever, he's going to love me for that. Whatever Jazz Rignall liked, I would guarantee that it was going to be a great game. So if they gave a game 90%, you could guarantee. The one game that, if you've watched the Nice and Nasty with 20th Century Gamer, he was talking about a game, Ghouls and Ghosts, and apparently Zap gave it a gold medal, and Mark thinks the game's shit. So they weren't always right, but yeah, it would have to be Zap. I mean, there was lots of really good magazines. The 90s was a good time for magazines. I mean, you had when the 16 bits came on, there was a lot more magazines. You had things like Amiga Format, you had Amiga Power, you had oh, I can't even. In fact, let me have a look. I have just got thousands and thousands and thousands of PDF magazines. If anybody's ever wanting any magazines PDF, let me know, and I'm sure I can help you out. Yeah, I mean Commodore, Amiga Force, Amiga Power, Amiga Computing, Amiga Format, Amiga Shopper, Commodore Disk User, Commodore Force, Commodore World, Commodore Format, CU Amiga. Yeah, that was the one. C Amiga. CU Amiga was kind of, it was like an in between. It was games and serious, but not quite as serious as like Amiga Format. And then Zap, obviously. Zap was a great magazine. Da. What are we talking about? They bring a tier to what are we talking about? Domain is saying maybe time for another more upbeat, happy intermission. Oh, we're talking about the little sheep. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've just sorry, I've just got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just seeing if there's any more questions. Yeah, a lot of the artwork that you saw in the covers back then was much better. I think, yeah, Colin's saying here retro gaming is actually becoming more popular amongst the younger generations due to the ease of use and that the games are still going to be playable without limit. Yeah, possibly, Colin, possibly. And I mean, that's a good thing because, you know, if kids think that the only games worth playing are things like FIFA and Call of Duty, there are tens of thousands of games that are worth playing. I mean, you know, I've been playing arcade hard driving, race driving in MAME with a steering wheel. I've overclocked it in the source code so it's 60 frames a second, and I fixed the sound emulation in MAME so it doesn't crackle. That's what I love about emulation. You can just improve things. I've been playing about with a PlayStation emulator. Is it Duck? What's it called? Duck something, Duck Station, and you can make the graphics look better as well. Uh, Steve's all-time favorite magazine was ZX Computing, but he loved Zap 64. Let's just for Steve, let's have a look. Right, I'm going to get rid of my. I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Right, I'm going to do PC monitor. Let's see if we can find what is it called? ZX Computing. I can't guarantee that I'll have it, Steve, but we'll have a look. We shall have a look. Oh, there we go. Right. Uh, let's go for let's go for December 1983. Right. It's all individual. Oh, wait a minute. Right, I need to move that over there like so. There we go. There you are. ZX Computing. How is that? Machine. Hang on. What is that at the top? Machine code part 7, 120. So obviously somebody. Ah, by Argus Specialist. There we go. ZX Computing, over 130 pages of information and programs for ZX Spectrum, ZX81 and Z80 computers. Biggest issue ever, apparently. Comprehensive checklists for Spectrum software. Round up your ZX81 for the 1K corral. Reviews, a hard look at the software, as opposed to a soft look at the hardware market. It's a hard look, plus lots of challenging programs to key in that would never work. What's mental, even back then, the barcode was a thing. I thought the barcode was quite a recent thing. So there we go. There's Mr. Kevin Toms. And for anyone that doesn't know, I've interviewed Kevin. He's been on a video of mine's, and he has also been on the live stream. But not the live stream, the charity one. Yeah, I mean that was the graphics. Look at it when you won the FA Cup. That's what you got. Action from the Spectrum version. That's a great game. So there you go. There's the early computer software stockists. Yeah, W. Smith and Boots. Dealers for urgent stock, send your headed notepaper. Yeah, brilliant. Let's have a quick look. Johnny Reb, the fastest reply I've ever had, says L Docs from New Zealand. Well, I'm guessing for them to reply to somebody in New Zealand probably took about 3 weeks. ZXCom, Skittles, problem page, wobble stoppers. There you are. Look at this, folks. This was a real thing. At last, a foolproof method of avoiding ZX81 whiteouts caused by RAM pack wobble. Simply turn the plastic thumb screw until the RAM pack is held firmly against the ZX81. No soldering, no stick-on pieces, just common sense. God damn it. Yeah. For only £5.75. Or if you want the tilted version, it was an extra pound. What is this? Tape load anxiety. ViewLoad takes the frustration out of loading your ZX81 or Spectrum programs. Helps to ensure program load every time. Monitors tape output level. Gives positive safe indication. Detects blank tape without disconnecting cassette wires. And ready to use, no wiring. There we go. You can also get speech synthesis as well. Welcome. Let's see what they're saying here. Welcome to our Christmas edition of ZX Computing. And have we got an issue for you? As well as all as the usual features programs, there are some special features which you may find useful when doing your Christmas shopping. Blah, 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 blah. You can pause this video if you really want to read everything about it. I always liked some of the. Oh no, that was. I always liked some of the. Hi, Jonas. How you doing? Nice to see you, mate. Again, yeah, I don't think. Have you commented before? It's always nice to see new people coming along. Order form. Let's have a look at the prices. Speed Duel, £5.95. See, this is the thing. People talk about how if somebody brings out a game on Steam and it's a fiver, people think, oh, it's terrible. I'm not paying that. But like, I mean, this was £5 back in I don't know 1983 or something, or 1984? I don't know. Nuclear attack. Oh dear me, we better not talk about that. Yeah, can you imagine having to type all this in? This is how we actually got games into computers, folks. We had to physically type. I mean, look how shit that is. How shit the quality was. You had to type all this bollocks in. Yeah, there we go. All that. All that. All. Can you imagine typing all that in? Mental. Black Crystal. Oh, I mean, it's funny how certain adverts just stick in my memory. I can always remember this. That if you're of a certain age and you remember there was the Phantom Flanflinger. I don't know why I always thought that looked like the Phantom Flanflinger because he had black on. I mean, imagine getting this for your Christmas. The Adventures of St. Bernard, an exciting, fast-moving machine code arcade game where you guide your intrepid St. Bernard through the perils of icy wastelands. Right, just for a laugh, let's have a look and see if we can get any screenshots of the Adventures of St. Bernard. Right, is it the? Uh, what was it called? Adventures. Oh, hang on, it might be AD. Adventure. Hang on, hang on, hang on. There we go. There's the game. God, it's actually got quite good graphics. No idea how to play the game. Oh, hang on, he's walking. Is he going to walk? All he's doing is flipping the sprite upside down. That's hilarious. There you go. There's Adventures of St. Bernard. Fantastic. Right, anyway, let's get back to let's have another quick look at this. Coming soon. Oh, I remember that as well. Carnell Software, never heard of them. Club Corner, Doncaster and District Sinclair User Group, the Beaconsfield and District Computer Club. DZX Computing. I am endeavouring to set up a Spectrum Computer Club in the Sydney region of Australia, and I was wondering if you would please publish this letter in Club Corner so that your Australian readers may see it. The club meets once a month and exchanges ideas, programs, demonstrates new software and hardware. At the moment, there are not very many members of the club. Why do I sound like a Yorkshire person? But we do hope to have many more. We occasionally publish a small newsletter. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Beacon. Does anybody live in Beaconsfield? I wonder if James Willen is watching. Yeah, fantastic. The ZX Micro Club. See, things are much better. There we go. Look at this Sinclair Spectrum map of UK. A large-scale 75 by 60 mile scrolling map is now available in the ZIP 48K Spectrum. It is easy to use and extremely fast. The program also includes a game using a drifting hot air balloon. Christ, that sounds riveting. The Crypt forecast. Yeah, these were massively popular. Horse race forecast. Predict the pools. Deary me. I do apologise to anyone Australian watching this because that was just poor. Yeah, there's another game you can type in. So this was Steve's. I'll see a few coloured. What the hell was that? Trick stick. You know what it's like when there's someone closing in fast and your joystick won't do what your brain wants it to. It won't let you loop or curve the way you'd like or arc and spin at the speed you want. You can't get away quick enough. So what happens? Zap. For just 28 of your English pounds plus postage, the trick stick responds at the speed of light. With its revolutionary light-sensitive controls and own interface, the trick stick lets you go where you want at the speed you want. Not just up and down or side to side, but round and round in any size, curved or loop. You need to build up really big scores. I don't know what they're talking about. And the trick stick is easy to use. All you do is pass your thumb or fingers over the controls. I bet you that was complete shit. The trick stick. Smog's Lair. Steve typed this in apparently. Where is it? Where was Smog's Lair? I think we did see it. Is that it there? Yeah, is that the graphics? I wonder if oh, what's it called? The Spectrum Show. I wonder Paul, can't remember his second name. I wonder if he's got one of these. Yeah, this could probably be one of the worst joysticks ever. Trick stick. So yes, you just put your hand over it. It'd be a wee bit like Jean-Michel Jarre when he was using these like lasers to play stuff. Fantastic. Professional touch to your ZX81 starter pack. More sensational software for your Sinclair. Microgen. Ah, see now. Are any of these games Galaxians? See what they did there? Galaxians. So obviously Namco wouldn't come and chap on their door and say, "Oi, Mister Microgen, you're ripping us off, you bastard." 180 Land of Sagan. Yeah, creepy crawly, an authentic version of one of the most addictive games devised. All the usual features: centipede, spider, bug, with full use of Spectrum graphics and sound. Creepy crawler. Let's just for a laugh. Let's see if we've got creepy crawler. Creepy crawler, we do indeed. We do indeed, folks. Let's see if it's an authentic version of one of the most. There we are. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh god, it's got the worst controls ever. And how do you fire? S to start. 5. So it's only got left, down, up, and right, and they're all in one line. S. Do you automatic? Oh, wait a minute. Creepy crawler? What? Hang on. They've changed the bloody. So wait a minute. You play the part. You play the part of the centipede. Now, the reason I'm shit at this is because all the lines are in a straight line. So is that up and down? Oh, bollocks. Wait a minute. Yeah, there we go. There's creepy crawler. Well, that is nothing like bloody centipede. That is nothing like centipede. It's the wrong way around. Yeah, it's a snake game. Right, let's get back to the magazine. Pharaoh's Tomb, Gorgon, the Black Planet. What does that say? Let's see what it says. The Black Planet. Find the black planet. You need 7 pieces of the key, each hidden on different planets. So I need to do a video about this. I need to read through that and play some of these games because I think it's always good fun when you do that. God, imagine, I mean, Personal Finance by DK Tronics. Could they put out a lot of games? A 1K Corral, a galaxy of great programs rounded up for your ZX81. Ghost Hunt by A. Murray. Right, I don't think. Nah, in fact, it's not. There's no point in even looking. I'd love to see what these games. Tower Attack by Gregory Briggs. Yeah, there's something. What was that? 23 quid. There's something really. Extend your 16K Spectrum to 48K for just £23. You get a free game, no less. What is the game? Is the manual get a free? So it doesn't say game, a free program. With program, there is no soldering required. Doesn't actually tell you. Does it tell you? East London Robotics, Albert Dock, London. 24-hour information service. We should call them and see if they still sell that because it does say 24 hours. So I would expect a, a voicemail. CompuSound Telesound 84, the only one of its kind to fit inside the Spectrum. There we go. No sooner had the excitement of the long-awaited ZX microdrives died down, but Sir Clive Sinclair, or Sir Clive, unveils one of his other long-standing projects, the flat-screen television. Look at it. Wonderful. Virgin Games. You look very, very smart. Oh, apparently I've received 100 messages, so I get a medal, a gold medal from Restream Chat. Apparently, Kelwood Wobble Stopper. God, it's mental to think that because the 16K RAM pack wobbled, there was people actually getting a business out of selling anti-wobble things. Yeah, there's another. Oh, there's Michael Caine. Right. Anyway, oh, some nice. Is that the last picture? That was a nice picture. That's quite smart. Anyway, excuse me. Right, let's get back to the webcam full. Right, listen, folks, we've been on for a wee while. I think we're going to call it quits shortly. I thought I was going to be on for about half an hour, but right, I think I do have a question, and it's from Milthy Swinbuckle, and he is asking, what memories do you have of first seeing classic or much loved video games for the first time, and where did you see them? Where were you on holiday? Did you see it on a TV at the shows? I'm not talking your bog standard games. I'm talking about the famous game changers like Galaxian. That's a great question. It's funny how I can't remember what I had for my lunch yesterday, but I can remember when I first saw Galaxian, or at least I think I can remember when I first saw Galaxian. Um, we'll do 10. Well, I just need to think of games. Space Invaders. The first time I saw Space Invaders would be in the sports centre. I don't know when it'd be, 1979 or something. I was going to my judo lesson, and I think at that point they had a rotating door to get in. And I remember going in, and I saw these people clustered around this thing, and I could hear this noise. And when I kind of pushed my way through, it turns out people were playing Space Invaders. That's the first time. Donkey Kong, the first time I saw Donkey Kong would be in the taxi place in Livingston, and it was actually next door to the computer shop that I was telling you about earlier on. So yeah, that's the first time I saw Donkey Kong. 1942 would be the sports centre. We're playing squash, and what we did was there was three of us, and the two people that were playing, the person that wasn't playing squash would play 1942, and then whilst other people were playing squash, and then whoever lost would come off and play 1942. So 1942 was that. Uh, I'm talking about the arcade versions, by the way, not the home ports. Commando would be in a service station on the M6. Galaxian, I think, was probably, I think it might have been Heathrow Airport in 1982. Um, Gauntlet would be Student Union in Edinburgh. Outrun would be LA Arcade in Edinburgh. Green Beret would be Student Union in Edinburgh. Tetris, never saw Tetris in the arcade. What else? There was loads of other ones. Scramble, the real early games like Scramble, Xavius, Phoenix, Asteroids. It was in the rugby club. My dad was a member of the rugby club. Yeah, I remember seeing them. Actually, I think Galaxian might have been a campsite in Callendar, which is which is in sort of West Scotland. There's probably loads of other ones. Space Harrier would be LA's. Rolling Thunder would be the arcade in Bathgate, which incidentally was the arcade that Stuart Campbell used to frequent, because Stuart used to go to Bathgate College as well. Um, Tekken World Cup. Tekken World Cup, R-Type, Rygar, Rastan. They were all Bathgate arcade. We used to go to college, and then at lunchtime we would go in and play the arcade games. Uh, Defender, I think, was probably Blackpool. I always avoided Defender just because I was shit at it. It was too difficult. There was a really early golf game, and it was one of these, is it Deca tape loading games? Let me see if I can find it. It was Coin Ops. Oh, I need to load up MAME actually. Hang on a second. Yeah, I can remember this was in the chip shop in Livingston. Let's see if I can find it. Right. Deca. There we go. There we go. Right. There we are. Uh, this was a game that was in the chip shop 1982 by Data East. Bloody hell. I never played it. Yeah, you had to actually wait. I'll just talk while that's loading. Yeah, that was mental. What else? 1942. Did I say that? 1942. Yeah, I did mention that. Year Kung Fu would be Stevenson College. Um, what else? Is that right? You are a treasure trove of information, Milestar. Deco is Data East. Cool. Never knew that. Never knew that. What else? What other classic games do I remember? Is it not Punch Out? Hard Driving. That was definitely the arcade in Edinburgh. Um, what the hell was it called again? Tiger Heli, yeah, Tiger Heli, and Continental Circus. They were both Edinburgh Arcade. What was it called? LA's, yeah, LA's. Um, it's weird. It's funny how the brain works because I can just remember what games were in where. Um, weird, a weird thing. Right, I'm just waiting for this game to load and we can see how shit it was. Can't remember anything else. There must have been. I mean, if you name a game, I'll go, yep, remember that. I mean, I never saw that many arcade games. I mean, I used to go to Blackpool. I was in Blackpool maybe 3 or 4 times over the years. My mum and dad hated the seaside, and they always thought that like these video games were a waste of time. So we never really got to kind of visit them. We would go down occasionally, maybe we'd go down to London on holiday, and then we would go to like Scarborough for like one day, and I was just wanting to play the arcades. Right, let's see if this thing's going to work. It's like a wee woman hitting the ball. Wait until the counter below reads 0, then game start. That's insane. It's actually hitting. Yeah, there we go. God, that takes me back. That takes me right back. It really does. Pro golf. Look how dated it is. My goodness. Yeah, there you go, folks. There we go. Right. Anyway, that bombshell. I'm gonna let you guys get going. Let's get the webcam. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, listen, thank you very much for watching tonight. It's always good to have you along. I will be along. I should be along on Sunday for the usual live stream. I'm going to be. What am I going to be concentrating on? Yeah, we're just picking some games to play, and I've got a list which I'm just going to crack on with. So, listen, folks, have a nice Friday night. Hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you soon. And as always, folks, thank you very, very much for watching.